Oh, hi there. It's Chandra Easton here. I'm an esoteric astrologer. Just thought I'd give you a bit of an update on what's happening with the planets in our solar system. Today's the 20th of January, and I'm looking at this chart you can see here from the perspective of Australia, but you don't have to be in Australia to make use of this information. But the sun's going into Aquarius, and I'm just going to find my little spotlight here. So you see there's the sun in Aquarius. And we've got a few other planets in Aquarius. The sun's very close to Venus. And of course, most people think that Venus is about relationships and love, and it is. But it's really also to do with the honesty and the integrity of the heart. So when the sun and Venus are very close together in Aquarius, it's a reminder that, going forward over the next week or so, starting from the 20th of January, we just need to be really truthful about ourselves, about what we value, about our relationships, and to try and sort of walk the talk and in our life with integrity. Other things to notice is Pluto's sitting there involved in this triple conjunction with the Sun and Venus. So, of course, that means that there are things we have to let go of. Look, it could be a group you've been involved with that you've outgrown. It could be a teacher or a teaching you've outgrown. It could be some pattern of isolation that you realise you've created that you have to push aside and clear the decks. It could be some lie you've been telling yourself and you have to own the truth. It could be a lack of integrity that you've felt within yourself, within a relationship, within a group, that you need to kind of confront and face. Okay, and then we have Vulcan. We don't know a great deal about Vulcan, but we have it sitting here in the 7th degree of Aquarius. I suspect that has something to do with clearing the debris out of our brain, getting rid of all the peripheral sort of, a lot of us can easily spend a lot of time, wasted time, thinking thoughts that take us down wormholes or, online or certain blogs or whatever. So there's a need to kind of clear the peripheral data out of the brain. And the reason for that is to make space for the intuition, to open the connections to the heart. Okay, so we have this need for integrity, the need to let go of what you've outgrown, the need to clear up the grey cells, the belief systems. And then we have the moon just today in the middle of Aquarius, and it'll be moving on tomorrow into Pisces. So, and it's moving out of the new moon phase into the crescent phase. So I suggest that the good thing to do with that is to say, well, where's my group? Where's the people who feel like family? Where's my clan? Where do I belong? And how are they part of my future? So the moon's kind of looking forward to new levels of belonging once we've cleared the decks of the old thoughts, the old groups, the old half-truths we've been telling ourselves. Okay, so that's all those planets in Aquarius, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Now, of course, when the sun's in Aquarius, esoterically, we must have a look and see where Jupiter is. And it's sitting down here in the 18th degree of Cancer. And that's because Jupiter is the esoteric ruler of Aquarius. And if we're looking to live authentically, have greater joy, greater love, greater sense of connection in our lives, then we have to pay attention to Jupiter. Now, Jupiter's sitting retrograde on top of Sirius and opposite the fixed star Vega. Which is just a reminder that despite the fact that the world appears to be so chaotic, there's hope. And there's hope when we find alignment and allegiance to the groups and the values and the people that are important to us. This could be your children, your family, your spiritual community, your sporting community, but find your alignment and your allegiance and commit to that and take responsibility for being the best version of yourself, living the best life that you can live. Okay, other things you might notice, Jupiter's actually involved, certainly from the Australian Canberra perspective, in a an angular cardinal grand cross that goes from Jupiter to Chiron, up to the midheaven, down to the descendant. And so effectively, you'll notice that the planetoid Chiron's under a lot of strain. Now, this is more noticeable for people living in Canberra, in Australia, but of course, it's a pattern that we're all experiencing on a global level. This is Chiron square Jupiter. So what do? Do we split off and say, well, I'll just look after number one. I can't get involved with groups. I don't trust politicians. I don't trust anyone. I'm out of here, and look for a way of separating and splitting and escaping. That's the downside of Chiron in Aries. But of course, the planetoid Chiron is associated with healing our Achilles heel. So the way I look at it, the Achilles heel for humanity is something to do with the fact that we're on a planet with an experiment as to how we use our free will. Do we use our free will to improve the planet, for the animals, for nature, for other humans, for strangers, for the family? Is that how we use our free will? Or do we use our free will to strengthen and bolster the ego? And so we can see a lot of that sort of attention to grab the limelight and to strengthen and bolster the ego. We can see that on the world stage. That's what not to do. But in order to truly harness the energy of Chiron and Aries from a soul perspective, we have to find a point of balance. And the reason for that is that Aries is associated with the fourth ray, the middle path, what the Lord Gautama called the Noble Eightfold Path. And so if we don't have physical balance, we don't get enough sleep, we don't eat well, if we don't have emotional balance, we've got to clear out negative emotions or people who bring us down, or negative thoughts. We have to clear out all the things that throw us out of balance so that we can be at a point of alignment. Many people know how to do this, and we call it going on holidays. You know, we take a weekend or a week or a couple of weeks off, and we go to nature and we disconnect from the busy, chaotic world, and we do what brings us joy and rejuvenates us. So I suggest that you find your therapeutic point of balance. Look, maybe you like to walk in the bush, or maybe you play the piano. Maybe you surf, but whatever it is that you do that helps you maintain a point of balance so that your mind's not going crazy, so that your body doesn't feel dragged to extremes, so that you're not riding an emotional roller coaster. That's our individual responsibilities, to find our point of balance. And once we're able to do that, and of course you see the red line that goes up here to Mars in Capricorn. There's two planets in Capricorn. Mars and Mercury in Capricorn. And we're taught from a very young age that we have to aim up, you know, level up, be someone, achieve, get to the top of the pack, you know, have great ambition. And that's how Capricorn's used on a worldly level. But when Capricorn's harnessed and utilised through the soul, then we find what are our personal goals. And that could be to recharge, to unwind, to take time in nature, to spend time with the family. Whatever your personal goals are that are important to you, that help you to maintain balance, they're the ones to achieve. So don't fall into the trap of setting a million goals that are unachievable. Try 3 goals that would really help you to feel more joy, to bring more peace into your life, to feel you have a sense of purpose, and pursue those goals. And if you're able to do that with commitment and with diligence and with determination, then you'll find that you're balanced and that you're more able to respond. When you're balanced within yourself, then you're more able to respond to the needs of others, whether it's family or community or complete strangers. But if you're chasing goals in the world, maybe more money, more status, more land, I mean, you know, whatever it is that is a worldly goal, the worldly goals, they're often like cardboard in the mouth when you get them. So pay attention to this Mercury Mars and set 3 significant goals for the next week or two, and just see if you can move towards them with determination, with commitment, with the support. You see the sextiles here, the support of whatever spiritual practices you have. But for one person, that could be, you know, a digital detox, somebody else taking a yoga retreat, somebody else putting on their favorite music, somebody else doing something that helps them unwind and relax. Because when we're able to unwind and relax, then what happens is we open the channels between the head and the heart. And it's the ego that wants to keep us busy and on this sort of crazy, fast-paced life, whereas the higher self, the heart, just wants us to slow down, to stop, to remember, to connect, to have quality time, and to use our free will wisely. Okay, other things to notice, I did mention the moon's about to move into the crescent phase, so family is important. Spiritual community is important. Local neighbourhoods are important. Make sure that you touch base with these people. Another thing I might mention is this fantastic trine that goes from Uranus at the end of Taurus up to the 2 planets in Capricorn. Now, we all know that the cost of living's gone through the roof, not just in Australia, but globally. This particular trine is asking us to use our resources wisely and well to support the goals, that those top 3 goals that you have. So you might need to spend some money on yourself and your health. You might need to invest in something that will benefit your family or your group or your spiritual community. But choosing where and in what way you engage your resources. And your resources can be your time, your money, your attention. Everybody's got different resources, but whatever resources you have, make sure that you use them wisely. And then I hope you can see the cradle. This is the sextiles, the green lines that goes from Mars and Mercury down to Saturn and Neptune, down to Uranus, and down here to, where is it? It's going through to the Earth in Leo. So just as a cradle that a mother would have is used to soothe and to rock a baby that's fractious, so a cradle at the end of January in 2026 is a soothing melody, if you like, the music of the spheres that helps remind us that the outer chaos and the outer upheaval is purposeful to bring about the best, to help us to learn the end results of our free will so that we choose wisely. So don't get caught in the chaos of the busyness. Don't get caught in selfishness. Don't get caught in chasing illusionary goals, but network and reach out and support and see who and how and in what way you can be the cradle for somebody else, and who and how and in what way others can be there to support you. Okay, that's my take for the next couple of weeks, starting from the 20th of January. Lovely to chat to you. This has been Chandra Easton here from StarAstrologyHealing.com. And of course, you can always talk to me individually to look at your year ahead. Bye for now.